I mean, it's a boom mic, so we can boom.
We say boom a lot.
Boom. Anyway, all right. Hey, this is day -1 at Gen Con 51, 2018. That's 2018, and I'm still getting things right because it's my first interview of the day. Show.
I'm honored.
We're Gen Con -1, which means Wednesday. That's why it's so quiet in here. Welcome to Wednesday.
Welcome, guys. Glad to have you guys here.
I'm with Zack from Collapsible Construction, which I like to call collapsible terrain. I'm dyslexic and God knows what else. So we're just gonna start with what they do.
Well, you want me to hold it?
Sure.
Well, just to give you guys a quick breakdown on it, the whole idea was probably about 5 years ago when I first got started. I was looking at all these skirmish games that were around there, and the one thing that I really wanted was, I love the skirmish games because you could take them anywhere, you could play anywhere with anyone. And I was like, it's always better if you have 3D terrain. Well, how can I actually look at those and turn the 2D maps that they have into 3D terrain that then I could also take with me? So I started designing these collapsible modular systems that would actually be able to, when you're not using them, they all fold up really quick, and then you can stuff them in your backpack, or you can store a castle the size of the table actually on a small spot on your bookshelf when you're not actually using it anymore. So.
Yeah, that's a drawback. Terrain always takes a lot of space. Well, with that said, I'm guessing that you started with fantasy skirmishes.
I decided to actually start, originally I was actually playing, it was a near future sci-fi. It actually wasn't fantasy based, but then when I started thinking about it, I was thinking that the fantasy might have a broader audience, and I'd actually be able to have more people that I could attract with this kind of a setup first. Just given Warhammer or any of those other games where you actually need a castle. And also this lends itself to role-playing as well. So if you need a backdrop for anything that you're doing, you have the role-playing there, as the role-playing backdrops as well for your fantasy Pathfinder or whatever.
Oh good, I turned it on. I'm getting used to turning on my battery off and on to save the battery.
Gotcha.
So, still learning things after 8 years. So, you kickstarted all of this, right?
Okay, now we get into the sad part of my story right here. I have been threatening to do a Kickstarter forever, but every time when I'm just about to get ready to do it, something happens, I get sidetracked because I'm doing this kind of a one-man show on my own. And last year I was ready to do the Kickstarter for the sci-fi terrain that I've developed. And then I got back, issues with the factory, issues with other work that I had to do, all sorts of things came up.
Oh, so you guys don't print this alone?
Well, when you say print it alone, what do you mean exactly?
Like make the cardstock, and I mean you don't make the cardstock clearly, but you don't like print it on your own printers that you own.
No. This, because all of this right here, because one of the reasons it's not.
It's like plastic.
Yeah. The reason why is because it actually uses about, depending on the pieces, like a 300 to 350 gram cardstock with a plastic laminate on top. And now what that does, the main reason for the plastic laminate is because if you've ever done anything with paper where you're folding stuff up and down, you know that it cracks on the edges. The laminate actually keeps it from cracking on the edges. So you can fold this up, pop it open, fold it up, pop it open a number of times, and it's not going to end up cracking. Also, the nice thing about the plastic laminate is it makes the surfaces wet and dry erase, so you can scribble on them and then you can wipe it up later on. So if you want to say, hey, there's a trap here or something happens here, you can actually keep your notes on the actual surface. Now, because this is not done, this is actually one of the reasons why I have to do a Kickstarter, because if it was all just going to be one-offs that I could print on my own, fantastic. I could have done that anytime and I could just start selling them. But the reason I need the Kickstarter is because anytime you want to get on a large-scale printing press, you need to have a minimum of 3,000 to 5,000 sheets that are coming off of that printing press. So even if you're only talking about 50 cents or something per sheet, each one of these styles, each module is 1 or 2 sheets or something like that. In some cases, 50 cents isn't going to cut it once you actually get everything in there. And then you have to pay for the assembly and everything as well. So you're talking a minimum of thousands of dollars just to be able to do the print run for it, to be able to get it to get up and going, which is why I needed the Kickstarter. This I funded all out of my own pocket simply because I wanted to get it going and I wanted to do a proof of concept first. But then after that I realized that if I want to continue with it, I do need to be able to do the Kickstarter to be able to do the sci-fi line and then also to expand this line. My mind is.
So let's go to this line.
Okay, let's go to this real quick.
What line is this? And I don't know. You guys can kind of see this, but we'll move. Here, hold on, I'm gonna move.
Okay, no worries.
Let's go Witch Blair, or Blair Witch, or something. That way.
Got it?
And we'll grab you a chair.
Already?
And I'll steal this chair. And now you can see the castle.
So, like I said, I went forward first with, I wanted to go with a generic medieval kind of a setting, so that way it could be used in all sorts of different setups. Also, if you want to, you can turn it into something that's going to be used for modern day. If you wanted to cut it to look like ruins, you could do that as well, because castles are still out there, so you could use it for any type of setting. Now, the basics that I went with, each piece, it's a modular system, so I have the basic tower, that's this piece right here. And so with the basic tower right here, when you're not using it, you just push up on those and the thing folds down flat like that. And so when you want to use it, put the hooks through and then everything fits together. Now with the towers, I needed to have walls and gates as well. The walls, also similar kind of a setup. When you take things here, pop it up, push in the tabs on either side, and then these ones, because they stay bent, you have to give them a little bit of a push in this direction to be able to make sure that they don't start falling over. But then you have this set. And then, if you look at the tower, it all slots into the setups like that. So everything, that way, if you have it set up on the table and you hit it, it's not going to fall apart.
And your volunteer was telling us about the Ferris mats.
The mats are actually going to be, I'm adding those into my Kickstarter that I will be starting. I promised I was actually going to be running it during this, but once again, like I said,
life.
It's maddening. The guy who was supposed to be doing the video for me, it was supposed to be done months ago. And I was flying over here. I was like, am I at least going to have a video to be able to show people? And I have not heard back from him yet.
Well, you got this one.
So there, I appreciate that actually.
This will be available. I can give it to you on a thumb drive tomorrow.
That would be fantastic. But the idea behind this is the mats that I'm actually coming out with are also going to be, the plan is to be wet and dry erase. And then also they are ferrous, which means that they're not magnetic themselves, but magnets will stick to them.
Yes.
And so that means for shipping you're not going to have any issues, because sometimes people don't like shipping magnets, which is always a problem when you're trying to ship stuff over from China. It becomes an issue. But what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to have a few different mat styles that then I'm also going to have a set of magnets that you actually slap on it, so they won't have printed roads. It'll just look like a big grassy area. And then where you want the roads on, you can actually put the roads down any way you want to. And the idea behind that is, because these are relatively lightweight, if you ever bump the table, nothing's ever going to move. Everything's going to stay exactly where it needs to be.
I'm a fan of magnets.
Magnets are fantastic.
I just created magnetic terrain for X-Wing.
Nice.
So you can actually play with your terrain, and you use the tournament pieces. Mm-hmm. And what I did is I just took a sheet of magnet and I cut it to fit it and glued it on one side. Yep. And then the bases for the asteroids have washers glued to the bottom. Yep. Yep. It works. It works better than magnet on magnet.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
And the thing that I like about these is they are really quite thin as well.
They feel durable too. They kind of feel like Teflon.
They actually do kind of have that kind of a feel to it. And the nice thing is that what's going to happen is it's going to be printed, and then there's actually going to be a laminate layer on top of that as well, because the laminate layer will then allow for not only water-based inks, but also hopefully for also the alcohol. Like if you ever want to be able to exactly whatever you want to use on it.
All right, so back to your castle line.
Yep.
How many pieces are in it, or how is it purchased? Do you purchase wall packs? Do you purchase?
Everything is packaged per sleeve, because it comes like this. Everything comes set up and packaged in these document sleeves like this. So that way, when you actually can just, as soon as you purchase them, everything is fully assembled, glued together, and packaged in the sleeves, which you can drop in a 3-ring binder.
So no assembly, guys. That's pretty slick.
The only assembly that you actually go through when you're doing any of this is the equivalent of doing these kind of things to be able to do the assembly. You do no cutting, gluing, pasting, or anything like that on your own.
That's a good look. Okay, because I know some people out there are going to be dumb. like me. And how much weight can like a tower hold?
Unfortunately, I don't have it set up here, but if you look at some of the pictures, the tower itself is the strongest piece that I have. This one right here, I don't recommend doing it. Go ahead, you can push on it if you want to. I can easily put a 3 or 4 pound miniature on top of it.
3 or 4 pounds is plenty.
And for the walls, as long as the walls are attached to a tower like this, then they're not going to fall over either. Everything out here can hold up a pewter mini that we have that's about this big.
So, the old corn, Demon of Corn from 40K.
Yeah, you could be able to, and all pewter and everything, including the bridges, because the bridges can hold it up as well.
It's pretty slick.
And the most I've ever tested this out at, and I have pictures of it that I posted at one point, I did have about 20 pounds on one of these.
Oh, wow. How'd you manage that?
I just started putting stuff on top of it slowly to see how much I could actually get on there. There you go.
They go together really easy.
That's the idea.
So there's basically walls, towers.
Walls, gates, towers, tower tops with crenellated tops, the bridge right here that we were just looking at, and then we also have stairs.
Stairs.
And the stairs, I wanted to set up the stairs so that way people would actually be able to play their miniatures on them. Granted, I realize it's a big step, but
It's not that bad.
And with these ones right here, the same.
For a miniatures game, it gives you the concept and stuff. For role playing, it's beautiful. How many different sizes of the stairs do you have?
Right now, I just have the one size. I just have the.
But you could snip it.
Well, yeah, if you wanted to. Well, it depends. Some of the things are quite, because one of the things you need to pay attention to also is the fact that when it's printed, everything is printed both front and back. I don't know if you guys can see.
Hi guys, meet the Nibbles, who's gonna go down. She just decided not to go down my back, so we'll do this for her so she's comfy. Thanks for watching my video, and I appreciate it. Please hit the like button and share it if you know somebody who might be interested. And of course, there's always Twitter and the Facebook thingy, and soon I have a newsletter coming. That'll be down there or in a link below, and my kitty cat loves that idea. So anyway, there was one more thing. Oh yeah, subscribe. Be a part of my community, our community. Let's make it grow together. See you guys at a con somewhere, or a local store, or if I'm driving through the country, maybe a game club. I don't know, you're not going to go knock down my camera. Bye guys.